Greetings everyone. In the last few videos I've been playing around with the concept of Batman related stuff, and I made a video that included making my own version of the Joker. Now this was just for fun. If you remember any part of the video, I used most of what came in this kit, which is like an activity book that comes with a Lego minifigure. So since this guy was already pale, he was a good candidate. I didn't use this hat. Instead, I used the hair of this character that came in another activity book, which you can get at, some dollar stores, I suppose. Anyway, now you might ask, why did I go through the hassle of doing this? Well, mainly because I've never actually worked on a Lego minifigure before, and I thought this would be kind of interesting to do. I mean, I do have access to a Joker. This is a Lego set that includes like another Batman, Batgirl, and the Joker, of course. And I just kind of wanted to do something a little bit different than what came in this little kit. Or, well, set, I suppose, is the best way to put it. Now, the main reason why I went through this sort of a hassle to see these two side by side is because I had an idea a little while ago in regards to, let me set that there for a moment. These two Muppet characters. So this is Waldorf and Statler, which are named after two New York hotels. And of course, they sit up in a balcony and basically mock the Muppets as they're putting on shows. So the idea was, in another universe, the Batman and Joker are a little more cartoony, I suppose, and basically got old to become these two guys. So this, in my mind, would be kind of like Bruce Wayne, and this would be the Joker, and that Bruce ends up buying the theater where, as a child, when he lost his parents in an alley or something like that, as far as the mythos, the mythology. Anyway, he ends up owning the theater and becomes the Muppet Theater. And that's the idea that I'm kind of playing around with, that this is the older version of the Joker, and this is the older version of Batman. So that's going to be sort of where I'm going with the drawing anyway, and see where we can go with this. And this should be kind of fun. Waldorf Statler as Joker and Batman. So I'm going to set that there, and I'll use it as a little bit as a reference, and of course I'll have the Joker nearby, and we're going to kind of go with the Joker as seen with Adam West's version of the Batman. So Cesar Romero kept his mustache, and they just basically put white, makeup over his mustache. So anyway, let's see what we can do with this, and I'm going to start off by penciling this first, and then maybe go from there, see what we can come up with. Muppets to me are kind of like some of the greatest entertainment. Some of my favorite memories, I guess you could say, are with the Muppets. And I've been a big fan of Jim Henson since childhood. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So, like when I was a kid, one of the most tragic things that I can remember, first sort of tragic things in regards to the Muppets, and was the passing of the character Mr. Hooper, who owned a store on Sesame Street, and he wasn't a puppet though; he was an actual person. And I remember that being like a really sad thing. And yeah, no, that was kind of a big deal. So starting off with pencil is a great way to try to figure out where I want certain things to lie before I go through the hassle of just inking it. So most of the time in my sketchbook, I like to uh, just use a pen and then live with most of those mistakes. But this is going to be a little bit different, I think. Now I may try to widen out the face a little bit more. In a lot of ways, this character to me looks a little bit like Wilford Brimley. Some of you may or may not know who that is, but there was an actor who, after a while, kind of got famous for just doing like diabetes commercials or something like that. But he was in a lot of movies and also had a pretty cool mustache and may or may not been an inspiration for, I don't think he was, honestly, but anyway, an inspiration to me to Waldorf the Muppet. Probably no relation, honestly enough, but yeah, in my mind, I'm sort of letting him be. The relationship between the two Muppets was kind of odd. Now, I, for some reason, can recall Statler striking Waldorf on many occasions if he didn't agree with something. And anyway, that seemed like a pretty strange dynamic between these two characters. Um, but let's see here. Kind of looking a little more like the Monopoly guy in a way. Uh, Sideburns. Give him some kind of wild hair, but not super wild. Of course, at this point, also thinning hair. I'll clean up some of these lines with the pen after anyway. Maybe. Now, let me look at this character here for a moment again. Kind of sad eyes, I guess, a little bit too, but that's my buddy Neville reminding me that not to take too long with this and to try to put more effort into the actual finishing. Yeah, no, I'm going to do my best, pal. Now we're going to zoom out a little bit. Now, as always with most of my doodles and drawings and whatnot, feel free to change the speed. You can fast forward, I suppose, too. Or, because you'll see the actual length of the video, you could draw along with me. So part of what I'm doing here, I'm kind of using a little bit about what I remember Tim Burton's Joker as well for this. And yeah, Jack Nicholson, I really enjoyed his portrayal when that movie came out in 1989. I was just a kid, of course, but that was a big deal. When I went to go see it in the movie theater, I actually missed the first showing, and I ended up having to see if I can kind of go between here. Ooh, that went super zoom. I don't know if I can get... Well, I can move this around a little bit too. Yeah, I ended up going to the late show, so I had to... I think I asked a friend if I could borrow a couple of bucks off him to call my mother. And it wasn't a school night, it was a Friday night from what I remember. And let her know that I was going to be running late. It was either that or try to see it as a matinee, and that would have been a little bit of a hassle, I could imagine at that point. Now, I'm going to try to keep some of the features of the Muppet itself. I could probably make the nose a little bit longer. Again, that can be fixed when I go to ink it. Give him a little bit of an elbow, I suppose, too, there. So yeah, I had this idea a little while ago, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to explore this a little bit. Now, just trying to think of how I want this part to look. Say gloves. Heel of the thumb, which I will try to figure out. He's going to have like a... I don't think I'm going to make this particular implementation. It'll have the same sort of like you know, the joke part of it being the revolver. But we'll see how that goes too. Hammer would be there. Oh, that should be a little bit shorter maybe. Now Muppets, of course, they have a thumb and 3 fingers. So I'm going to try to stick to that as well. Maybe we can shorten that up a little bit too. That would have okay, something like that. You know what? Yeah, the hammer would have struck. Here, you would have a double sight back here on that part and a single sight up here. Not that that matters. This here would be a pin, which would control how you would chamber that. So I hope the weather is okay where you are and that things are doing okay for you. Where I am, there's been a lot more snow as of late, which isn't always my favorite. So that's roughly the idea for that one. I might change this eye just a little bit and make it a little bit bigger. Again, that can be fixed. Rough ideas. Heel. love just making sure the cuffs and stuff like that make sense for where I'm going with that. You can see some part of the vest. Now, let's see what we're going to do with Statler's face. Muppets are kind of all about their noses in a lot of ways to me. Just thinking about the height. I didn't fill in the pupils here because I want to align where I'm going to put the gaze. Very different eyes between these two, though. As I said, I think there's a pretty strange dynamic between these two anyway. And it's just a funny idea to think that they could have been rivals in a not so violent but cartoony world. At least the idea seems kind of funny to me. He's got pretty wild cheekbones. For a Muppet. And of course, a super dominant chin. Which when I was a kid, I think we used to call them bum chins. Almost like what you'd see on that American Dad show, maybe. Yeah, I don't mind that so much. Well, because he's Batman, he very easily block whatever the Joker's doing here with his gauntleted hand. So we'll give him the 3 main fingers and a thumb as well. I'm not sure why they did that, honestly enough. It might be something to do with, like, you know, not having things look like regular humans. Could be. You know, they did that a lot in animation as well. Those characters didn't have 5 fingers. They would all have 3. Maybe that was just to appease parents that somehow, yeah, I don't know. It's just a very strange thing. Now, where do I want his waist to be? That's probably good there. If his hand is out of his cape, then the cape would be off to one side over here, wherever his elbow would be, which could be kind of moving off over here. Now, does here where he would have his bat belt buckle, and we'll give him some cool little things on his utility belt. And what wondrous things he would have on his utility belt too, huh? He'd have like shark spray, which is outrageous, but not as outrageous, you know, because he's the world's greatest detective. It's kind of the main idea that I think I'm playing around with. And just in case people don't really know who he is, actually, he would of course have the symbol on his chest too, which is pretty wild. And almost unnecessary since, you know, this and this. Anyway, does he really need the branding? Sure. He's Batman. Okay, let that curve over just a little bit. So I think that might be all I'll do for now. Maybe we'll put the flower on the lapel. Whether or not we keep it as a polka dot thing, don't know yet. But that's sort of the idea. And how about just because it's funny. We'll have the Joker's fist here, as if he would follow through with a punch. But oh no. Let us include some knuckles of brass. Okay. Maybe a pocket here. So the next video, we're going to pencil this in, and at the same time we'll try to clean up the image a little bit too. That could be fun. Maybe we'd shorten this chin a little bit too, huh? He's got kind of a round face. Well, that's the idea here, folks. Okay. I think that's it for now. And we'll see where this goes with the next video. Okay. My hand sort of smudged that one out a little bit. Probably we'll go so far as to put maybe the bat symbol on there as well. Yeah. Well, that's all for now, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And yeah, join me in the next one and we'll see what we can do with this and maybe clean it up a little bit, and then yeah, well, it could be fun. This is one of the issues, I suppose, of dealing with pencil, I guess, is that you can get back in there and change something. All right, folks. Have a great day.